Tonk. Tonk. Not the Tonk, Tonk. Hello, how do? How are we all? Yeah, let's have a look at who's in. I'm gonna need to come to the screen and sit down because there's so many people in chat. Hello, Pat, Gracken, Captain Captain Roland. Sorry, I'm misspelling that. I thought it was Captain Raoul there. I'm trying to read too quick. Mini Flames, Golden Triangles, Waldeck. Hello, welcome. Paul 3 Keys, welcome. Golden Triangles, VMX, you and Car. Pull Your Legs 44, still love that name. Welcome. Yes, please give me the tongue. Hello, Ghost and Coffee. How are we all? It's been a week. It's been a week. Well, dodge back over to here. Before we get on to the Tonk, which is here, we have Latonky type things. And I'll explain why we have Latonky type things very soon, so that's cool. I have to move where this camera is because I'm not really looking at it. Right. First of all, let's deal with our live properly this time. Yes, I had some sort of technical issues. This camera still is a bit juddery in the top left corner. My network's maxed out for some reason. I think I must have a... Oh no, Bagel, am I late? No, we're literally seconds into the show. There's a 13-minute pre-show now, so it used to be a bit random because my timer for when the stream was starting was a web-based one. I've now integrated everything into OBS, so that timer, even if I'm not here, will still come live to this room.
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Captain Bro, thank you for the follow. So that timer will always actually be accurate now, which is quite fun. So that is all cool. So we've got an orange envelope of excitement. What's in the orange envelope of excitement? Well, some merch, basically. I'd collect up a lot of merch at events because we tend to be there when the whole thing is stripped out. Occasionally we actually are helping strip out some of this stuff, and we have also transported a lot of this merch around back and to from events, and there is we end up collecting quite a bit of it, if I'm honest. And I thought, well, we were sorting through everything because we're in the process of sort of getting ready to move to the new workshop. So part of that process involves us finding lots of shit in boxes and stuff from old events. And all of this stuff has come from old boxes of what we class as event detritus, which is the shit that gets put in cardboard boxes literally as you're walking out of the door of an event. Because what you got to remember is we're sort of last out the door and everything has to go because it's not your venue and everything has to be out. So everything just gets put in a box and you think, oh, well, might be worthwhile. So we have a little bit of a selection that I've sort of put together of stuff from various events that we have been to over the time. And I thought it'd be nice to put them together. Now, there's another quite cool thing about this orange envelope as well. So, what have we got in this little set? We have a CitizenCon 2949, so the last CitizenCon, the brochure, which are always amazing. I love the brochures that the CIG put out. They are amazing guides, and there's loads and loads of cool things, loads of cool adverts and everything in it. Absolutely love them, so that's cool. We have, I think this is a 2015 or 2016 Star Citizen sticker. We have a pack of cards. Now, if anyone hasn't seen these cards, these are old. In fact, we'll just open it up. So these are old. I think these might be 2015 cards. I can't even remember if these were from a CitizenCon. If I'm perfect, I think they were. Not one that I was at. But these cards are lovely. If you've never seen these cards, these are every single. You know, like you get a lot of custom packs of cards where it's only the jokers and the sort of face cards that are different. Every single one of these is a properly themed Star Citizen art style card, and I absolutely love them. old Freelancer Max. These are all, I say, this is an old set. Hornets, Origin stuff. What's the other ship? The old 100 series, 300 series, 300 series. So yeah, so these are, I see these quite a lot because we have quite a few packs of them. So they actually came in a cardboard sleeve. Kind of came in one of these cardboard sleeves, but these have all fallen apart because of how fucking old they are, and the glue's come off. So all of them have literally come apart at the seams. So I just sort of went, no, I'll take them all out. And, there was also some post-it notes that have perished in it. All the glue has perished in them, so they don't work anymore. They just have all come apart. So these are old, and these have been stored in a hot place at some point. But the actual individual bits are fine. So that is cool. As the Ace of Spades a cutting? Yeah, I think so. We have a little man. These are obviously the little statuette guys. Not our work. So occasionally people accuse us of doing these. But no, it's a little Star Citizen pointy explorer guy. So that's cool. So he's in there. A Star Citizen pen. I can't testament where the ink works in this. A couple of stickers from 2019. So the Hasta Ballista Baby sticker and a no space. Oh no, give me some space sticker, which is a window sticker, so it's back to front. But you put that on there. Does the Pinty X-Borg also glitch out? Yeah, he T-poses when you're not looking. A Citizen Con 2948 lanyard, so this is the Austin year. A Star Citizen pin and a Kraken pin, which will have been from the same year. So the pen is awful, I have no doubt. I don't think it being sitting in a thing for 5 years will have made it any better. I think it's one just to look at, if I'm perfectly honest. So we have a Kraken pin from 2948. As far as I know, these were only ever available at the event. So they're probably quite hard to find. So that is basically our little random ass swag bag. And the good news is, or rather, let's start with the bad news. The bad news is that people who are subscribed to this channel have 10 times the chance of winning it as non-subscribers. Because if you're a subscriber, you get 10 tickets. If you are merely a follower, you only get 1 ticket. So just as a bit of a reward for our subscribers. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's quite a lot to subscribe to a channel for just a slightly better chance of winning this. What industrial sounds background? The cool thing about that's a good point about the tier 2 and tier 3. Unfortunately, Stream Elements doesn't have that function. I did look for that because I wanted to do the like gold silver thing, so I might have to find someone else who does it. It's a bit weird. So we don't just have one of these. I've got 5 of these. So this is basically the stuff that I could find that we have 5 of. Right? So I've got 5 identical packets like this. So we're going to be giving those away between now and CitizenCon this year. So you will have 5 chances to win this stuff. So not always good. So I want to do some on Wednesdays, some on Sundays, because I know the crowds are different. So everything that's in here is actually, there are another 4 of. And then I've got another one, a 6th one, that's a load of shit that I couldn't find more than one of. So there's some really random shit in that. So that's cool. So we thought, this stuff is just gathering dust in boxes. We have our own selection of everything that we want to put on the shelves at some point and display. So you're not taking merch out of our pockets. We have our own sets of all this stuff. I'll tell you what I also found, if anyone wants to put this up for it, a 4XL Kraken t-shirt. God knows where we got that. We collected quite a few Kraken t-shirts at the end in 2018. I think I've got 3, just the event ones, and we've got a 4XL, but they're all really random sizes. So there was like smalls and 4XLs and a few in between. But I've got a 4XL that I found never worn straight from the event. I say a lot of this is event detritus that we have picked up. So, so we're giving away one of these today, but there's another 4 to go. So that's cool. So let's get that giveaway going. As I say, subscribers get 10 tickets. You have to be subscribed before you click ticket, because we've established just before that if you get a ticket, enter the raffle, then subscribe, you don't get any more, because again, Stream Elements basically restricts you to 1 entry. So we'll get that going. We've got an hour on the clock. We've got an hour on the clock for this one. I had it open somewhere. There it is. Oh, giveaways. It's lost where I am. Here we are. Start giveaway. Cool, and that's going. Excellent. Super. Right, while we're here, while I'm down here, we can talk Tonk. So, the Tonk is for this year's Hurston Hurt Locker trophy. So, those of you who remember us doing these
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Flint Flood, thank you very much for the subscription. What about the Tonk?
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Hackbanu, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. So the Tonk is...
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Flood, thank you for the follow. So we did
JR might
2
be a
trophies.
dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Again? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the sub.
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Hey, what? It's me, James. What a fantastic name. Right, so we did
JR
these...
might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Oh, he started the hype train. Thank you very much, AFA, for that. So thank you very much. He starts the hype train. So we did these 2 trophies for Hurston Hurt Locker. So these are the solo champ and the duo champ. These were obviously cyclone TRs.
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Thank you for the sub, Young Car. Much appreciated. So this is basically the solo champ and duo champ from that year. They were both TRs, were based off the kit models of the 1 to 40 kit models that we did. Now this year, not only is there the duo champion and the solo champion, as in 2950, there is also a new category, drum roll, of a Tonk, because it's like, well, you know, the Tonks come out in between last year and this year for the event. So Atman Wii Sports are like, we're running a Tonk thing, so can we have a Tonk trophy? So it's like, yeah, absolutely. Of course you can have a Tonk trophy. So what we have got, we have the... You never know, Unknown Bagel. You never know. Right, so we've got Tonk. So this is a 1 to 100. This is a 1 to 100 Tonk. This is not a kit model. This particular beast is for the Hurston Hurt Locker trophy. Let me just go and get the tracks. I can't decide how happy I am with the track shirt. They've only literally just printed. So I wanted to try and put the actual tread pattern on them. Focus. So the tread pattern is in it. And these will... So get a knife and just give them a little trim. I also thought it would be easier. Come on, camera. You can do it. Or not. I thought it'd be cool to do the tracks as rubber. I'm aware they're not rubber tracks, really, they're sort of metal tracks. But from the purposes of doing a model of it, I thought it'd be a lot easier to do actual rubber tracks. Because doing the pattern to go round it was going to be another couple of maybe an hour or so's work. So I thought, I'll just print it in flexible and I'll save myself an hour's work. So that's the logic. So I just trim this. I've printed it directly on the build platform, which is why I've got a bit of a sort of shitty edge to it, but that's fine. So these should fit. Oh, it's going to be tight. I did make them quite thick, didn't I? I have to ease them in. So they'll go on like that, and then kind of go round the wheels. So just sort of feather those in. So this is kind of like a very quick kit in that it's only made up of like the tracks in two parts. So there's multiple reasons why we don't do kit models this way. This is, I mean, it sort of works, but they're an absolute bugger to paint. It's difficult to get as much detailing in on them. The Tonks are not a too bad one to do like this because you can sort of put all its supports on the underneath, but the underneath this is going to be hideous. We've had to put drain holes in the back of it to let it drain. So there's lots of disadvantages of kind of all the supports inside are going to be a nightmare to get out. So there's lots of reasons why this isn't a good way of doing a kit model. Also, there's also the fun of building a kit model. The turret and stuff, certainly there's a lot of internaling supporting we had to do in here. But like genuinely, if this was a kit model, it wouldn't be a huge number of pieces at this scale. This is 1 to 100. So that's cool. We have kind of made the promise that if we did do this as a kit model, it'd be a 1 to 40 kit model because we're doing all the ground vehicles in 1 to 40. So it would be 2.5 times the length of this. 2.5 times the width and 2.5 times the height. So it would be an absolute behemoth of a kit model. We probably wouldn't have agreed to do this as a one-off trophy. Well, we would have agreed to do it, that's probably the wrong word. It would have cost a lot to have had this drawn to this stage. It's got no detailing on it. But just to draw it to get it to this stage of printability has been a decent amount of work. It would make the trophy very expensive. However, we needed to get it to this stage for the Hercules Starlifter model at the end of the year because we're doing the Hercules Starlifter in 1 to 500 and we need Tonks. So no matter what we were doing, we had to get it to this stage, what we class as first fix. So this is far from done by our standard. It's got no detailing on it. All these panels are completely flat. It's got none of the panel lining or riveting or vents and ducts and all that kind of cool stuff that makes our models look so nice. So it's very basic. But this is the sort of step one of making a kit at any scale. So we needed to do this to do our 1 to 500 Tonks. So we thought, well, that's fine then, but we'll just do it a few months early because, realistically, we need to do it very soon anyway. So that saved Atmos some money. And then we thought, well, we won't detail it at a 1 to 100 level because that's weeks of work. So it's just going to look like this for the trophy. So it's still quite substandard compared to a kit model sculpt. But we think decent paint job on it, muddy it up, make it look a bit wrecked. It'll look really spot on for the trophy. So that's where we're at. There's obviously budget and time constraints as well involved in a lot of these things. So so that's where we are. So this, I'm afraid to say, is not a confirmation that we are doing a Tonk kit model. This is a confirmation that we're doing a Tonk diorama piece with the C2, and it is a confirmation that we're doing a Hurston Hurt Locker trophy with the Tonk on it, but no current plans to do a kit because as I say, if we did a kit, it wouldn't be this size. It would be the 1 to 40. There's nothing actually stopping us doing, to do a 1 to 100, but it would kind of sit quite nicely next to the Arrow and the other 1 to 100 ships we're doing this year. But we have said ground vehicles are 1 to 40. Are we talking half a meter tank in 1 to 40? No, I mean, what is it? I can tell you. The Tonk body is in 1 to 100 is 135 mil. So someone can do this in chat. 135 times 2.5, and you'll get to know how long it would be in 1 to 40. If whoever's doing that calculation can also give it to me in inches, because there will be some Americans in the audience, that would be absolutely awesome. Yes, there we go. So it's not colossal. It would be the biggest model we'd ever done. I think the bigger issue was it'd be how wide it is, how tall it is. So there'll be that. There'll be those factors. But right, okay, I'm going to grab this chair. And while we're here, and just generally discussing Tonks, we'll just sort of get this prepped, just so we see if it fits together. And again, this is a thing. This is a sort of one-hit wonder on the old printing point of view, in that we've just done a single print, very dirty supports. Go away, fly. It's really warm. I've got all the windows open today. I am sweating today. Scotland is having the warmest summer I think I've certainly ever experienced up here. So yeah, the supports are not pretty, but when you're trying to do a one-off print, you really don't want to have to print it again. Because at the end of the day, we sort of cost these things, if we're doing them as one-off trophies and stuff, for a single print's worth of resin and all the rest of it. So, and these one-off jobs are expensive enough for people, so we don't want to make it even worse. So like 72 degrees. 28 degrees in your homeland. Yeah, it's probably about that here as well. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's really muggy here. We're supposed to have thunderstorms tomorrow. I say, I apologise, Drew, that at the end of the day, every bit of weather we have is mild. And compared to everywhere else in the world, doesn't mean I can't fucking moan about it though. As a Yorkshireman, that is my right. Absolutely. It is, yeah. I'd moved to Scotland from Yorkshire to get away from all that horrendous southern warm temperatures. So I did take the tracks off this because I thought these wheels would be an absolute nightmare to print. The keen-eye amongst you will notice that this back wheel is incorrect. Answers on a postcard why it's incorrect. If you send the postcard to yourself and then when you get it, just read it out in chat, because I'm not gonna read your postcard. I had to do this back wheel wrong because of how I've done the tracks. Is the hint. Right. So yeah, it's not pretty, but we're going to hide a lot of this with the paint job. The other thing that you tend to do, so one of the big processes that we do when, yeah, we don't have tornadoes. The most extreme weather we get is gale force winds of, we've had 100 mile an hour wind here. So you can get some wind in the UK. A oppressively horrendous temperature would be about 35 degrees. That's about as far as we ever get. And I suppose we get a bitter cold. I've had down -22 here, but that is a rarity. I say we're a fairly mild country when it comes to that. So, one of the things we'll notice is this back door is horrendous, just because of all the touch points. That's going to take a lot of sanding and sort of hand fixing. And this is one of the things that we gain when we do kit models, because we would have this door separate. Even in 1:100, we do the interior of this. This is just a hollowed out shell. So there'd be an interior, this door would be separate, you'd be able to see inside it, all the rest of it. Certainly in 1:40. In 1:40, we'd actually have this whole lid so you lift it off and you could put your characters inside it and all that kind of stuff. So it's... a tornado in Cornwall. Fantastic. When was that? What year was that? That's amazing. We would take it to the nth degree like everything we do. And I get some people complain, and like, we literally get emails saying, can you not just like half do it so it's cheaper? It's like, we could. The interesting thing is that if we spent half the time on the R&D, like literally cut the R&D time for these models in half, we'd still have to go through licensing. Cal's would still have to do everything that she still does. It might knock off £10-15 from the cost of the kit to have it literally just like this, no interiors, no panel lining, none of the really cool stuff, because at the end of the day there's so much stuff that between us and getting these kits out as a official product, what's another month worth of design work on top of that, then split between all the kits? It's not it's not really as big a deal as you think. Right, so cool. So that's the base. We're just doing a fit test at the moment. We're gonna have to close this door. We'll get absolutely inundated. I will say that is one thing we do have in Scotland, is a hell of a lot of insects. Not, thankfully, like Australian. Well, they don't come to kill us. They do bite, a lot of them, but only annoyancing bites rather than anything serious. Okay. So this turret won't spin, interestingly, just because I just literally cut it out. So you can see there's a notch and another notch there. So obviously, and that's the other thing. If we're doing this as a kit model, we'd actually have the turret extending on magnets and all that kind of stuff. So we'd need to. There's still an awful lot of work to take this to a kit model level. Would we do it? I mean, if we thought we would sell 250 of them, yes. I can't see it though, I've got to be honest with you. I say 1:100 maybe, but I really want to do all of the vehicles in the same scale. So yeah, I don't know. I'd say we're certainly getting the 1:500 with the Herc, so we'll start there and move on. It's interesting, and as we get more and more data, especially when we put the Carrack on sale, we will get a little bit of a better idea of what ships are more popular, what kits we do are more popular than others. Certainly we don't sell the 1-40 range kits very well at the moment. We've obviously got the 2 Cyclones, we've got the Dragonfly. They are by far our slowest selling kits, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact, and I completely get it, the disparity between the in-game price of those ships and vehicles compared to the kit model price is gargantuan. It's like it's 145 or whatever we charge at the moment for the Cyclones. That's because that's how much that kit has cost us to develop and manufacture and get on the shelf. It has no real bearing on the price of the model in game. Okay, no, that's untrue. It does, because obviously the bigger the ship in game, the more expensive it is to make, but also the scale you're making it in is obviously a big factor as well. If you're doing it full size, it's going to be really expensive. But yeah, as a 1-40 model, it is an expensive old model. So yeah, we don't sell the 1 to 40s particularly well. The 1 to 100 sell really well. The 1 to 200 sell pretty well. And then we'll see with the Carrack how well the 1 to 500 sell. But certainly at the moment if you were being very sort of sensible business-wise, you'd say we need to be doing a lot more 1 to 100 ships. And the shipping. Oh god, the shipping. Yeah, the shipping is mental. I mean, we subsidise the shipping on our kits by about £4 or £5. A basic package, one of these orange packages to the US, is about £15 for us. Yeah, shipping is brutal. It really is. Okay, I think that's all the bits that tend to be getting in the way. I'll just give this a bit of a sand and trim. Again, one of the things that we do when we're doing our kit models is we print a piece, we get the piece looking like we want it to look, and then we'll get it to print, and then we'll start to reduce the size of those touch points again and again and again until we get it to the point where it is as small a touch points as humanly possible. Hey, a Tonk. Obviously, when we want to do a one-go print, we put our touch points really big, so they'll take quite a lot of sanding. Quite a lot of sanding on this. I say, I'm not worried about the underneath of this because it's going to be glued to a trophy. So it's yeah, Tiny Tonk indeed. Right, so let's cut some more of these tracks out. Again, my trick with these is they're going to be connected underneath, so we can sort of hide it. I couldn't make them any longer. I couldn't get it in one piece to go all the way around in our printers. Just not quite large enough. Just want to very carefully scrape it in the back of this one. There's also a few bits I missed. So this front section here is way too thin, but I didn't catch that. I thickened up quite a lot of stuff, but that I didn't catch. It's fine. We'll just sand this a wee bit. Scrape some sandpaper. Oh, yeah, sorry. Do you have to model all the assets, or do you go, there are no high poly models? Yeah, no, we have to model it all. Basically, if you've ever downloaded the HoloViewer models, Deskless Art, if you've ever had to download the HoloViewer models, that's all there is. CIG are really clever about this, actually, from a point of view of their
apparently
design.
Apparently, some great friends.
Why, Paul, thank you very much for the subscription. Tonk! So CIG are very clever with regards to their pipeline for ships now. They're a lot faster making their ships than they used to be. And a big part of that is they concept art stuff literally as concept artists, drawing in sort of freehand drawing programs to the point where Chris is happy with them. It then goes down into the white box and grey boxing phases, and that's all done effectively in engine. So it's using parts of ships they already have, but they need a new part, they design it. They never do a high poly version of it because there's no point. So there is no high poly model of any of the Star Citizen ships other than some of the very old concept. You're talking original Freelancer, some of those really old ships where they did really high poly for video rendering and stuff. It's now all done with shaders and bump maps. So we have access to the build. We do have Star Engine, which we use to get our sort of paint references and be able to sort of fly around the ships and look where all the detailing is, but then we have to draw all that detailing ourselves. So we get the ships actually out of the current live build. We use an extraction process to get those out, rebuild all the parts, put all the parts back together again. Because obviously everything's done in components in Star Citizen. It's all sort of object containers and stuff. So you've got to get all the bits of object containers and put it all back together. And just nice details. I do like to waffle. This is true. So we have to do all that. So this we would consider to be our first fixed model of a Tonk. So this hasn't got any detailing on it. It hasn't got any panel lining, rivets, air vents. Basically, this is all you get from the geometry after it's been hand repaired and redrawn and stuff. And then on top of this, to make it look like it actually looks like in game, we go in and draw all that detail on. So it's an unfortunately long process. There is no cheat to do it as well. There is no shortcut, and I can guarantee you on that, because CIG get us to do work for them when they want to do physical stuff. There is no shortcut. I wish. Do I wish there was? No, I don't wish there was, actually, because then everyone else could make them. It's a very selfish point, but it's true. I like being the go-to guy for this. So that's cool. Let's get some sandpaper. That's what it's going for. Thank you very much for the question. Yeah, no, so the commercials and cinematics are done either in-engine or entirely through modern trickery of texture shaders and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you've only got to look at Haskahar and Captain Raoul's, like, you know, when they do the screenshot contests and stuff where they get the ludicrously amazing, like, close-ups and stuff. Star Citizen is just fucking incredible. I mean, the graphics engine is mind-blowing. Star Citizen as Star Engine, you can rack it up to 8K. All of the textures at source are 2 to 4K. So there is more room in the engine from a point of view of, like, looking down the line. You can run Star Citizen at 8K with 4K shaders and textures on it. Now, I don't think we can do that client side at the moment, but it is inbuilt, future-proofed into the engine. So it is just mind-blowing what you can actually just get out of the engine itself. And then sometimes they do take stuff out of game. But the fascinating thing is that there is no shortcut. Again, because they're taking into rendering programs that do the same tricks that the games are using, i.e. with texture shading and bump maps and all that kind of stuff, all of that stuff can be transferred into the other programs. The problem we have is that we can't do that. If we want it to be on a model, we have to draw it, and there's a few attempts we've made. We can turn bump maps into geometry, but the issue we have is that if you just turn a bump map as it is in game directly into geometry, it's way unscaled for a model. It just wouldn't appear on the print. So we have to do a little bit of actual model making design and go, right, a panel line needs to be this big, needs to be this big. Please bring much more models in 1 to 500 scale. Yes, no. Thank you, Jackbird. Yes, it's interesting. We've had a few people saying, why have you bothered to do any other scale? Okay, so that's interesting. So that track will go all the way to there, and then we can use our last bit of track to infill that. I printed 5 of these, so we've got plenty. I'm not going to glue this together because obviously I want it separate so that it's easier to paint. We were restricted on the 1 to 500s, and why were we restricted? Well, mainly because of the resin. So this is grey resin. This is sort of standard grey resin. What we currently print our ships in is a combination of these two resins. So the reason that I printed this in grey is because I've not got as much model on the shelf as grey at the moment, and it's in the other printers. So this is model resin, so this is what we're printing. Let's just do It might seem really counterintuitive, but this camera's better. So this is model resin. This is what we're printing the main body parts and stuff of ships. You can get see all this panel lining and stuff. This is all hand drawn in, all the rest of it. So that's that, and then we also have this stuff, which is the tough resin. So this is what we're printing, like the little. So there's an Ursa rover in here. There's the Pisces and turret. So these are Carrack prints, and it's this resin that's allowed us to do the 1 to 500 mini ships. When we first started doing these products, that wasn't a resin that was available. Only having you're late, I'm late. That resin has allowed us to do these little 1 to 500 ships, and until that resin came along and we got used to using it and what its capabilities were, it was never really an option to do the little 1 to 500 ships. They would have been too delicate, too fragile. I mean, we had resins like this. This is our rubber resin. So the Cyclone tires are made out of this. The Grey Cat PTV tires are made out of this. It's a really nice resin for that, but you can't get a lot of detail in it, and it is really, really flexible. So that's cool. But yes, no, thank you. It is we are doing more 1 to 500s. Our focus at the moment is 1 to 500. So we've got. What we got. So we've got obviously the Carrack coming up really soon. That's sort of just waiting for sign off and artwork to be printed, really. We've then got the next big kit model is the Hercules C2 M2. We are doing, I can't remember how many more dioramas. MSR, Freelancer Miz, Cutlass Blue, Mantis, Buccaneer, Gladius, Sabre, Vanguard, I think are the 1 to 500. I saw the tiny one, 600i. So the tiny 600i was one that we did for Pariverse, a trophy for. So everyone who went to Pariverse got one of those back in 2018, I think. Yes. It'd be 2018. So that was a memento for going back to that. Redeemer will hit concept soon. Yes. So that little 600 was and we did it in a sort of glow in the dark resin, or like a UV glow resin, on this like cast white plinth.
Apparently, he's got some great friends.
Jack Berg Christian, thank you very much for the sub. I do indeed. And hi there, Alexi. How are you doing? So that's sort of where we got up to with sort of 1 to 500 so far, and then next year we're sort of like debating what we're going to do as our first 1 to 500 kit next year. We're sort of out of the currently released models. We can't do the Idris, the Reclaimer, or the what's the other massive one on the 890. They're too big for us at the moment. When I say too big, they physically won't fit in our printers in any kind of reasonable size. They will cost thousands for us to make. So we need to get into casting stuff, and we're going to be doing a bit of casting in a minute. It's our next job, in fact. No, actually, we'll finish this first. Because this actual model bit is stage 1. We're going to have to go and hit stage 2, which we'll do right now. Do it right the fuck now. Bring this over here. Right, so now we've got our little Tonk model. I'll bring the Tonk. We've got the Tonk. Too far out. Yeah. The little Tonk can sit there. It's going to annoy me that the turret doesn't rotate. I'm going to be honest. Right, so what we need to do with the Tonk is make a base. So our Hurston Hurt Locker stuff obviously has these cool bases, and these are all done with sort of diorama stuff by our painter. See if there's a closer up one of the base. Yeah, so this is that's all like the diorama base. So we need to make one for the Tonk. So we're going to start off with the base we've already got. So this was printed in 2 parts. So we have part 1 and part 2, like that. Again, these were what I class as dirty prints, because I don't need them to look great for a customer because they're getting done by our painter, so he will hide any flaws. It's a kind of a one-off print, no fucking around with it. It just is what it is, and he'll fix it. Which is, what most 3D hobbyist 3D printers will probably say they do. so, so that's fine. Right, cool. So obviously we have a slight issue that this is all 1 to 40. We will save incorrectly. So I don't want to lose this, because we will no doubt need to come back and do the thing again this year. So this year, 2951 Hurston Hurt Locker is not a TR. We've actually kind of mocked up an MT. So we're adding the missile pods to a TR model, to basically do an MT for this year, just to make it a bit different. And then hopefully next year we might do some of the other cyclones, but we'll see. So we need to make this base a 1 to 100 base. So we'll start off by putting the Tonk in. Shouldn't really call it a Tonk. I do feel quite bad. I know him. I've got him on LinkedIn. I will deliberately ask whether he finds it offensive that it's called the Tonk or whether he doesn't fucking care. But I do feel like I'm just mocking his accent. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm offensively French. But yeah, I do feel quite guilty about that. Right, so we'll bring a tank model in. Oh, what scale are we at? I have to mess about a bit with scaling here. Ooh, this is all over the place. Look at this. I think that's right from going from that scale to that scale. Are we going to be right? Let's see. Boom. Yes, there we go. So this is correct. Scaling for our base. That is okay. We don't actually. This doesn't need to be a brilliant import because we're not actually using the tank in that. We just need it to kind of look right. Also going to jump the. Ooh, to be fair, that is a bit janky. We might need it less janky than that. Got to be honest. Imagine flat tire in a tank. Yeah. 11 million, that'll do. Don't want to go too crazy, but I don't want it to be absolutely god awful because it'll just upset me. So we're not printing. We've already got the tanks here. So this model, but we're just trying to sort of fit it onto the base and make it look cool. So we'll add those in. We'll make this a stupid color. The colors are all more for me so that I can see what is what part and what's another. Geometry wise, we'll have to go back to 4, I think. Bring this in, yes. Symmetry. XX symmetry. Add that in. Just to give us tracks. Okay, so here we have our little model Tonk in relation to our base. So that's cool. So we now need to make all of the other things the right scale. So we'll start by doing that because, to be honest, we can kind of. So see, this was the TR. So that's got our winners on. We'll probably try and use the winners again. I've no idea how they are going to come out in this scale, but we'll give it a go. So we've always got the tough resins. We can get away with more than we could before. So what do we got? We've got dead bodies. So we can have that. That's the base. We'll leave the base alone. Dead body. We'll start with you. So, mass scale. So should just be able to go 40%, and that should be right. Oh God, I'm going to have to do maths, aren't I? Right to me. So everything's going to get a little. Just going to be bizarre. Dead Body 3. So we'll mess about with all these in a minute, but we'll just kind of just sort of get everything to the right scale and then start pissing around with it. We can keep cyclone parts because at the end of the day, the cyclones could still have, could still be involved in this fight, and we're going to need more bits. So we might as well keep the little bits of like tumbrel that we've got. Cyclone tire fragment. Yeah, we'll keep that. Dragonfly body. Yeah, I do want to keep this dragonfly, but I'm going to try and keep it together. So I need to merge that with dragonfly body just to get it back into one thing. So that should be the whole of the dragonfly. There we go. It looks so little now. So we've got this giant around here. Now, I might keep these crate lids the size they are. I don't know whether they're going to make sense or not. We might have to work out a different size crate to be able to put the same logos in it. So we might get rid of them for the minute because, yeah, they'll annoy me. So we need cyclone wheel. Looking behind the top. Yep. And then dead body. Okay. So that's got all our little sort of componenty bits from the old trophy. So quite happy to use kind of all of those. I've also got, tell you what else I've got, is a rock. Not as in an actual rock. So I actually use this on the Run with Cane trophy. That's interesting. Tiny, that's why. Scale up a bit. But I thought this could be quite fun because it is quite a rocky environment that that we're doing this on. Actually, the one with the Run with Cane boot treads in it. That's interesting. Yeah, we'll cope. We'll cope. Oh, that's nothing. Have we all voted in the ship showdown? Have we all voted? I have voted. C2 all the way in the first round. C2 all the way. Right. It's twice the size, and then we can hide the fact it's got boot tread in it. Argo Cargo. It's up against the max though, but I'm going to be voting Argo Cargo. It's people need to learn and be punished for letting human beings pick things. Boaty McBoatface being the prime example, of course. They need to be taught. They need to be taught. They need to be learnt. Right. Okay. So this is a bit of a rock. I thought we might play around to see about putting a rock in this, just for a bit of scale. We've got the slight issue that we've got the Run with Cane boot tread in it, but anyway, we'll work with that. Go too crazy with the rock. I don't want it to be taking over here, but might not want it all, if I'm honest. We'll see. Just kind of wanted it for a little bit of kind of make the general base a bit different. We'll see how the old Tonk's going to sit on it. Yeah, not buying the rock. I've got to be honest. Might just have to lose the rock for something. Not feeling it. Right, let's stick that in like that. Right. Drag. I guess the idea with this is that obviously lots of events have happened at in the same crater. What ships get paint jobs? Only the winner. Yeah. So the the trophies themselves are kind of one-off builds. So we actually did this before we launched the kit model itself. We'd sort of done the kit model to make it work for this trophy. But yeah, so we have this painted on the base and everything, and that is the trophy. The winners as well. The characters are unique to the Hurston Hurt Locker trophies. They don't exist in the kit. You get a lot of other things. So we only did two last time. Solo champion, duo champion, and then I say this year there's a Tonk as well. So there's three. We're doing three trophies this year as opposed to the two from last year. But yes, these are the sort of fully painted ones. So the cyclone trophies are already being painted as we speak. Our painter has got those right now and is doing those. And we're obviously Tonk is now done. Sorry, talking about the ship showdown. Yes, top four. Sorry, completely missing that. Yes, usually top four. Um, as a general rule, I think that's all we've ever had before, anyway. Yeah, let's have a look at what that. If I had to make a prediction, it's a good point. I literally only just voted as win. So okay, so I would think um, if we were to what we'll do, tell you what we'll do. Do this. So I think C2 will get to here. That's not a problem, right? Reclaimer versus Mole. Reclaimer, I think will get that. I think there's a two. Carrot. I mean, this is the thing. To predict the winners, you do have to go contest by contest. Do you reckon the mole? I mean, don't get me wrong. I would pick the mole. I'm picking here what I think will win, rather than my personal preference. Not what I'm going to vote, but what I think is going to win. Carrick versus Carrick. Not a. I mean, last year I looked and went, Carrick's going to win. There's nothing in its way. Yeah, MPUV is gonna beat the Max. I think because I think it's going to get its little vote storm, and I think that'll probably get it as far as it being quashed by the Carrick. Maybe. I think it will. It should do. If the MPUV beats the Carrick, I will be fucking hilarious. Oh my god. Cutlass Black. Yeah, that's going to make it. The Black is a very popular ship. Retaliator Bomber versus Banu Defender. I have no fucking clue. MSR. Gladius versus Saber. I don't know. Don't know enough about the ships. Doesn't matter. So, C2 versus Reclaimer. C2 is going to win that. I think anyway. I think C2's still got its shine. Carrick versus. I've got to say it's got to be the Carrick. Surely to God, it's got to be the Carrick. I think the Carrick army will. I could do to put an A in there. The Carrick army will get it past that. So Cutlass Black versus either of those, I think the Black's going to win. So I don't really need to know who's going to win that one. And again, I think the MSR can beat the Gladius or the Saber. So that's interesting. So that would put us to, C2 and so the C2 versus MSR can only happen in the final if it gets there. So C2 versus Carrick, I think the Carrick will beat it. My penship's getting worse. Black versus MSR. I do not know. Black versus MSR. Hmm. Hmm. Personally, I would say MSR, but I think the black will win because the Cutlass Black has a massive following. I think the Drake boys will be out in force and get the black there.
So we'll have Black versus Carrick. Um, but yes, I think Black versus MSR will be close, but I think the Black will get it. I think if it did get to Black versus Carrick in the final, I think the Black will win. And I'm not going by that's purely because of what I think the fan base for these ships is. I think the Black might have the run this year. It's been top four at least once, if not twice before. I think it might be the Black's year. Because, yeah, if it can beat the MSR, I think it can beat the Carrick. That will be my fag packet prediction. Looking at that, I say I don't know what's going to win here or down here, to be honest. But I think it might look a bit like that. We should perhaps have a sweepstakes. We had a sweepstakes last year, didn't we? Yeah, we had a sweepstakes last year. Let's shall we do that again? Shall we say Black won't win? Okay. So if people want to guess the top four, well, how did we do it last year? Because I don't remember how we did it last year. I think we actually got you to fill in the whole chart and then email it to us. And then we were going to give prizes out for whoever got it the rightest, like through the whole thing. So feel free to do that. If you fancy having a go at this, just do what I've done here, except fill them all in. So I will go tally if I had to put it on, and then save it. So if you want to fill in this chart and email it to us at cals@jrfabrication.co.uk, and then we will announce which people get it as right as humanly possible, and we shall give JREX out as prizes. Many JREX. I think 500 JREX if you get every single one right. So I would say that. So 500 JREX. I'm making this up as I go along. If you get it 100% right, 400 JREX to the person who is closest. If it's a draw at the top, we'll still give you a bunch of JREX. So it's all good. So fill in the whole thing. Do it as quickly as possible. Ideally before the first one is announced. Since we probably should have done this before now. But yes. Cals@jrfabrication.co.uk. She'll love receiving all your emails. And yeah, we'll do that as a bit of a contest. But that's my prediction. I'm probably going to be really wrong. But I say, this isn't who you want to win. This is who you think will win. Black has won 2 skins. You say, I'm going for the Black year. I'm not a big Cutlass Black fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of the Cutlass Black. But I think looking at the roundup, I think it might have it this year. Can you type it in chat? Probably. I have 2 keyboards here. There we go. So that's cool. No worries. So cool. Right. So let's get back to our work. Let's get back to work. How long have we got on the old Raffaelette? Two minutes 23. 2 minutes 23, people. We've got 26 entries, 161 tickets. Excellent work. Right, so strategically place some more bodies. I kind of need to subtly hide the.
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Nighthawk 1111. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, indeed. Yeah, I've got to sort of strategically hide the higher marks from the old Cyclone. We'll do a bit of a better job of hiding this in a bit. Cyclone. Completely not where I thought it was. Good old 3-dimensional space. I think it's because I'd already chopped the bottom of it. It sort of it's really deceptive. So
I'm just
whoever
happy to
wins
blame
this,
JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
don't care what username is. Thank you very much for the follow. Thank you very much. So whoever wins this, I'll need your address, obviously, because it's a physical bit of merchandise. I'd say if you're thinking about buying the carrot, I'll hang on to it, but to be honest, I'll just post it to you. It's in a A4 C4 envelope, so it's all good. So just email me your address, or in fact, you can email your address to Cal's email as well. Let's just flood Cal's email with all sorts of shit from the stream. She'll love me for that. She'll be well chuffed. Why am I getting so many bloody emails from your stream? Except in an Essex accent. Right. Okay. So that's sort of repurposed all of the detritus from the old one. I'm going. Cool. I'll make sure you win, Ian. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, generally that's fine. If you're going to buy a carrot, it's not far away, so I can throw it in the same box. That's fine. Right. So we definitely need some more stuff. Be interesting to see how big an actual cycling body would be in this sort of scale. So since we do have a cycling TR in this, let's grab the TR out. This might be a little bit of a kludge. Can I scale the whole thing? Let me do that. It will. That is very handy. It's going to be awkward if we're not. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'll play it cool, mate. I'll play it cool. Okay, so that's awesome. So we can kind of, we've got a whole TR's. What are you doing? Damn it! Got a whole TR's worth of stuff here. Look, to add more detritus. So to start with, let's pull the winners out. I don't know if this will rescale it. Nope. Okay. So these are now 1 to 40 winners. So we can kind of place these on the tank. A crushed TR on the top. Yeah, let's see if we can do that. That'd be awesome. Now there's no top hatch to the.
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
All deck TBD. Thank you very much for the sub. Much appreciated. So we're not going to worry about these guys. They'll literally be glued on, but I think they'll print fine at that scale. I mean, we've done plenty of, we've done plenty of 1 to 100 people. So that is the raffle done. Let's come back to this. So shall we pull this raffle? It'll be quite exciting. Okay. The winner of our pouch of many goodness is, drum roll, West Victory. No. AFA, well done, congratulations. It's that UK in there, meaning I get to post it domestically. I'm always a fan of posting stuff domestically. Congratulations. Yes, it is in the UK. Yes, UK mail. Result. We said this about one of the Hurston Hurt Locker trophies. This is an odd running joke, and it was just like we ended up posting a trophy all the way to Australia to Corsair for him to post it back to the UK. And we're just like, well, that took a world tour. It's brilliant. Fantastic. Yes, please email Cows on that email that's up there somewhere, your address, and we shall get that out to you. Fantastic. Well done. Congratulations. And the great news is we've still got another 4 to give away throughout the month. So it's all fantastically fun and fantastic. So that's cool. And then on one stream, we will give away two. We'll give away the one of real random shit. There's some quite cool stuff in there. There's like an Anvil Aerospace phone holder. There's a stress ball. There's an Anvil Aerospace stress ball. I have one on my desk, but there's more. There's some really weird stuff in that. Stuff I've only got one of, or only have one spare of anyway. Fantastic. Cool. Right. So. Yes, because if the Tonk was actually up in the air, is that going to make doing the tracks for the model harder? No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Fuck it. It's my model. I can do what I like. So one advantage of having it up in the air a bit, maybe play around with anyway, is that these winners will now be sort of standing flatter on it. I know it sounds bizarre, but they were designed to sit on a relatively flat bonnet of a. So they can sort of be glued on there. So let's see if we can make this tumbrel look right. So. Right. How crushed is crushed? We kind of want it to have gone sideways into it. I mean, we're asking quite a lot here, people, because this does require us to actually be printing an entire cyclone in 1:100. What the fuck? It'll be fine. The worst that can happen. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. It's like, is that whole thing of, do we want it to be sitting on both of the tracks? Do we want it to have sort of pummeled it into the ground? We're just going to play around with it until it kind of looks doable. There'll be a bit of fixing by Brett as well. I'm not going to be too worried about how this looks as it's joining into the ground, because he'll use diorama rock and things to kind of fudge the join between the TR and the ground. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. What I do want to make sure is that we don't have like the Tonk clipping into it. We can do some fun stuff with the TR to kind of fuck the TR up there. So that's we can that actually might be what to do to start with. Actually, let's flatten this fucker out. So let's get rid of the people. Let's get rid of everything but the TR. Right. Okay. So let's get some tools out and wreck this thing. What do we want? And then we'll pick a texture. Whooshes. Yeah, it's not as. So getting a more. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I want. But inverted. kind of got a bit of fire damage going on here. But I'll attempt to just see what it looks like. We can always go back here, but just try and look like, because obviously this might have been hit by the Tonk's principal weaponry, so it's going to have, you know, seriously severed the vehicle, just blown the top off it. Could look quite fun. So this is for anyone who hasn't messed around with voxel modeling. This is one of the reasons I bring stuff into 3D Coat a lot, because you can actually do voxelized messing about with stuff in, which is really, really fun for this sort of project. Yes, let's see what it looks like if it's sort of. I don't want to see the tumbrel side. I'll say it's quite fun because they're both tumbrel.
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
No, Geek. Hello. Time flies indeed. Thank you very much for the sub, my friend. That look vaguely natural. I kind of want more of that, more of the back of it gone, I think, don't we? So I could actually have the track sticking up onto this, onto the tumbrel's back wheel. Get rid of some of this stuff. Otherwise, it is going to try and print it. And again, because we're doing a kind of one-off dirty print, if it did, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Just literally put little supports in for them so that it doesn't fail. You just don't want them all floating around in the printer. You can also go with a general smooth all command, and that will fix many sins, get rid of a lot of little bits. Yep. And this a bit, because we don't really want it to be absolutely straight onto it, because that looks a little unnatural. I do kind of want the Tonk to sit fairly straight on the trophy. It'd be nice to kind of get this to sit so that we can balance the Tonk pretty straight on it. But that it sort of looks natural that it's ramping up it. It's probably going to work. Battle damage on this side as well. Boom. Oh, that's interesting. Only one of my wheels. Oh, this isn't the whole. I don't have all the suspension elements on this. It's fine. Brett's just going to have more work to do. Ah, dear. This is the sort of thing I need to make my painter aware of. Might have to lose this back wheel. Sorry, Mr. Cyclone. But you've also had your back quarter blown off. Let's face it, that's not unrealistic. These things lose their wheels and tyres quite easily. That's definitely in canon. Or as a result of canon. Either way. Obviously, because I've just had this as a sort of placeholder in the past, I've not got all of these as separate little components. It might have been better to bring it all in as separate components, but that would have taken us quite a lot longer to do. Let's make it look like it's messed that up. Damage here. That. Just general battle damage. This is obviously one of the losers from the previous rounds anyway, because I don't think there is a Tonk. I don't think there is an event where a Tonk and a Cyclone can actually go up against each other. So this is very much going to be there from a previous round. I think I probably want to have the Tonk and this. Might change parents to the Tonk. Have this whole thing slightly flatter, a little bit more smushed into the ground. Smush you. But really, because I mean, obviously the weight of this thing will have just crushed this into the floor. That looks nicer. Yeah, I'm digging that. Digging that. So what we can do is change parent back this out. That could get rid of. Winners, they'll be floating in the air now, so they can come down. That look really fun. Gonna probably move the dragonfly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the Tonk Copy and subtract that from TR. So that'll kind of like dig the Tonk out of that, so it'll sort of sit on it. I'm afraid you have. I'm afraid we have already picked it. But I have good news. Good news, my friend. All the things that you saw on the giveaway, I've got 5 sets of. Basically, we had a lot of event detritus from all the different citizen cons. So we have got another 4 of those to give away, not today, but in the month leading up to CitizenCon. So stay tuned. Keep an eye out, follow us and stuff, and we are doing more of them. So you haven't missed all your chances. There is another 4 more chances to win those wonderful prizes. And I said there's also another package as well. Did I win again? You're always a winner to me, Drew. Always a winner. Yeah, sorry about this. So it was now a long one. So with these giveaways, I'll probably start them probably within the half hour into the show. So I guess we'd probably be drawing by 8:15 my time. Oh, indeed, Drew. You're always a winner to me. Are you liking the trophy, Drew? Do we think this is looking good? I kind of like the 1 to 100 scale this time. I think it looks quite fun. I think once it's finished doing what it's doing. Need to find some. I'll need to jump into game and find some larger containers to do the lids or buried containers with the writing on, because I quite liked that solution to that. 1 to 100 is going to be... Well, interestingly, this... obviously, this is the 1 to 100. Interestingly, the Tonk is actually a smaller model in 1 to 100 than the Cyclone. It's the same length or slightly longer, but it's not as wide and not as tall. So this base is the exact same size base as the other trophy. Yeah. So obviously this is 1 to 100 rather than 1 to 40. So obviously the other one is 1 to 40. So we've shrunk everything down, but we've kept the base the same. So the actual trophy will be the same size, which is kind of convenient. But everything else has got smaller. Otherwise, this would be, as you say, a fucking thick trophy. Right. So what have we done here? If we move the Tonk, we've actually cut away the Tonk's tracks and feet from this, so it should sit on it slightly nicer. Right, so let's find our dragonfly again. This dragonfly needs to move. Back corner, I think. I don't want the cyclone remnant and the dragonfly in the same place. Keep up the interest around the trophy. Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be a good trophy when there's dead bodies. We're being quite cheeky in using the same dead bodies off the other one. But, you know, it's the same field of play, so I suppose they come with the same corpses littering the field. Put little dragonfly in at the back. It's obviously nice to cheat and bring in old assets that we already have fixable and usable into these trophies. That looks fine. And again, that'll be a good win to hide that there. Which body are you? Dead body 3. That was lucky. Let's move you over to this weird mound here, which was where the dragonfly was originally. You can die over there, please, sir. The people are tiny. I know, right? 1 to 100 people. I mean, obviously, we've done 1 to 100 people before. When you get the arrow, there is 4 pilots with the arrow, 2 male, 2 female, 2 seated, holding joysticks for in the cockpit, and 2 climbing the ladder, 2 of each gender. So there's 4 pilots in the arrow kit model. the Tonk is a huge thing. I think that's the thing. I think some people have put it like up against Abrams and things, and it is much bigger than any real life tank, I think. Just because of how it's set up, because effectively you are, I mean, it's in room on the inside of it. It's not, I mean, saying that some of the modern tanks are ridiculous as well, but I would think this is bigger than any real world tank. I'm not counting Nazi super tanks never got built. I don't know how not to do things to scale. That's very true. Right. I don't want the tyre fragment. I want the cyclone wheel. Let's put you around the other side as well. And I say I'll have to find a little bit more other bits of detritus for this. There's a certain amount of irony that we're using the model from last year as the victim this year. It's quite like that. So this is a wheel without its tyre on, and that's going to hide that old cyclone footprint. Conveniently. Cool. Okay, so we definitely need some other bits and pieces. We'll need something here to hide that bit there, but that's fine. But yeah, the Tonk looks like it's driving that into the ground. I like that. It's not too reared up that it doesn't make sense. That's cool. So yeah, so let's have to decide some new cargo boxes for those sort of bits either side. But that will be fine. Cool. So that's that. That is that. That poor cyclone. I know the poor cyclone. It's definitely a loser from last time. Definitely. Firemaster, sorry, my friend. Raffle has been and gone. But good news. My selection of fancy merch from shows. I have 4 more. I have 4 more sets of it. So there are 4 more chances to win that lovely selection of random ass merch from lots of Citizen Cons. So we've given away 1 today. We're going to be giving another 4 in the lead up to Citizen Con. So I will make sure I do some on Sunday, some on Wednesdays. Try and sort of like spread the love a little bit to make sure that everyone gets a chance, no matter where in the world you are. Cool. Right. So that's all I can do with that for the moment. I have to find some more. Yes, indeed. So that's that. So where are we at? Let's go over to the other day. Right. So that's that. That's all we can do for that for the moment. Let's not lose our tank tracks. Let's put the tank back in its tank box. Over here, ready to go to the painters. Look at all the caraciness. Nearly 100 carats printed. We're down to the last couple of parts that, other than the main fuselage, we've only got about 20 odd of the fuselage. Everything else, we're up to 100, which is pretty damn exciting. Pretty damn exciting. I won something once. Right, so I'll put these back in the boxes. Now, so quick Carrack update. Since we're talking Carracks. Yes, totally unrelated question. Does it get a Stargate? Well, it doesn't get a Stargate as a door, but there is room for a full-size Stargate. So when I've been a very, very, very good boy and earned lots and lots of money and have 2 months free, I will be building a goddamn Stargate. I can guarantee you that.
So we now have our full selection of these. Stargate confirmed. Fuck yeah. Right, so we have these now, which are molds for the Carrack nose bridge canopy things. So this is our cluster of cluster of molds. So they fit in to this pressure pot in a sort of circle. What I need to do, I need to sort of think through, right, okay, how I'm going to do this. So I kind of want to, I'm going to cut a piece of wood on the CNC, a circular piece of wood that these are going to sit on, and have some kind of handle to be able to lift it in and out of the pot all in one go. So that's cool. With an Idris as the actual door. Yeah, I think it's a rented building, so I don't think I get to change the door. I get to change everything inside it, but you know, we get to set dress it a bit. There are so many fucking projects I want to do that I've wanted to do for years. I really want to build this full-size TARDIS. I've wanted to build this TARDIS for so long, but there just isn't room here to do it full-size because TARDISes are fucking huge. And no jokes about it, they're bigger on the inside, they're fucking huge on the outside as well. They're over 3 meters tall. They are beasts, and they're like 4 and a bit foot wide. You know, they're just huge. So I really want to build one of those. I really want to build a Dalek. I really want to build a Stargate, obviously, a DHG to go with it. Maybe, although I might do the SGC gate with all the sort of like Earth connections on it. I can't build the insides of a TARDIS. There's loads of builds I want to do for me. But it just with this Stargate, like the Daedalus has, and sort of like spits them out to do the sort of like. I'm so excited about new Stargate. Oh Jesus! Now Amazon have got it, and they're funding new seasons, and it's like, thank you, Amazon. Thank you. Right, so these are all done. So this needs a circle of wood cutting, but the other thing we need to do is we need to get our resin ready. I need to change the bloody oven as well, because my oven still hasn't arrived. That's not the end of the world. I can just use our regular oven, but it's annoying. So that's cool. Put all those away. Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah, I think they have said that they are going to fund one, so I think it's in the works. It's being written, all the rest of it. So I think we're good. I think we're getting one. Fuck. TARDIS outside, warehouse inside. That would be quite funny, actually. Right, so we need to mix some resin. So that can be the last thing we do today. It's the last thing I do. So the monitor's in the way. That was dumb. So these are all silicons. I thought my monitor in the middle of my. Right. That's that one. That's that one. Okay. So those of you who follow this debacle on a regular basis will know that the Carrack bridge nose section thingy is quite a cool little build of a tinted sorry yes, my mic's on here. A tinted blue cockpit canopy with the actual innards of the cockpit, with all the sort of so much fidelity with the seats and the mezzanine deck and everything cast inside. We started off with this stuff, which is a smooth cast 325 EU. which is a clear-ish resin. It's clear enough for this because we're putting a tint on it. So the issue we had with this, the pot life was ludicrously short. So short that it was, we managed to get it successfully to do one several times, a couple of times, but we had probably as many failures as we were learning. Don't really need a cricket ball. But we have tinted this, and I think it's a little bit too dark. This is the new stuff we've got. So this is a new box. So this is 326 EU, which is slower. This is still probably counted as a fast. You can have a look at what its cure time is. So 325 pot life is 2.5 minutes. 326 is 7 to 9 minutes, and 327 is 10 to 20. So it's all the same material. It's just basically got a slower catalyst. So part A, part B. So it'll look exactly the same. It's just a slower catalyst for it. So what we have to do is we need to dye this one the right color, like we did with this one. Now we kind of know that this one's a little bit too dyed now, so we can tip this out, see what it looks like, and kind of dye the other one to not be as strong. Now I did work out that all 7 molds with the inserts inside need 220 ml of resin. I literally did that with a syringe and water and measured it out. So, and that's got us a little bit of room to play. It was just under 200, it's an extra 20 ml because it'll get stuck to the cup and all the rest of it. So 220 ml. These are not going to fucking tell me. So we're going to have to also, when we've got these out, measure how much there is, because we kind of need to know whether we have enough. Oh look, it's a little teaser of a new 1-100 model. So I know you like to have your Loch Ness Monster conversations and see what we're doing. Yeah, let's pop because we got to tip the whole thing out, and I want to have the same size pot, so that we can kind of compare and contrast. So let's tip out what we've got of this. So that we've got our base for comparison. So that did get quite blue. That is, I think the technical phrase is pretty fucking blue. Now you've got to remember, this is effectively twice the strength it will end up being because we mix it 50-50 with 50-50 with part B. So let's not mix these up. I want to believe. I'm a big fan of Smooth On, by the way. You might have gathered that. Everything is smooth on here. I'm not sponsored by them. I'd like to be. I don't actually know whether I would. I've said this before. I'm not a huge fan of. I don't trust people necessarily that are sponsored by people. So I'm quite happy to sing their praises without money. Right, so that is 400 millilitres. Dead on. So that means that this kit will do 800 millilitres, so it's only going to do 3 casts. So that's quite interesting. So we're going to need at least another set of this to do all of them. Yeah, sponsored by Uslot, indeed. So that kind of sucks. So we are going to need to work out a form of measurement for the amount of blue. Got all sorts colours. Let's not. So the big issue with this stuff is that it is this stuff is called So Strong, and it is so fucking strong. It is almost impossible to keep this consistent. So we are going to require some means of trying to get it consistent. So we're going to attempt to do that with that. A playing card. I want a playing card. I wanted something shiny. That's not a what's it packet. So a bit of plastic, so that isn't going to absorb. It's coming out a little bit. Absorb what we're doing. So I'm going to just put a drop. A drop of this stuff is way too much. So we're going to put a drop on. It's very thick because it's effectively part of the resin itself. I've got a plastic stick here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a drop of that on, so we have a little bit of dye, and put it in here. I'm going to get a clean stick and give this a mix, because this goes blue really fast. So I think with golden, that to me looks, I'd say that was not as strong as that one. Difficult to tell on the camera actually, but to me it looked a lot less. There's a bit of light behind it. Yeah, how weird. Like genuinely that looks quite a lot different on my... how can I show? It's a lot less dense. Should I, yeah, no, it's not going to help. So yes, so I'm happy enough with that. That is, I guess it's the colour isn't changing. It's the translucency of the colour, I guess. And even looking downward through these two, might be a better way of doing it. The one on the right is still already more see-through, even though there's over twice as much in that right-hand pot. Does that make sense? So it's like, if we empty, well, no, actually, that's something we could do. So it's like, I'm happy with that. It was close, but I'm happy. So if we kind of tip this out, so there's the same amount as in the other one. So we might be able to show it off a bit more on camera. Okay, so yeah, a little bit. So those two have now got the same amount of liquid in. So we're doing a little bit of a fairer test here of how dense the colour is. I say the colour is the same because it's the same colour dye, and this is the thing. It's like blue's blue. It's the same blue, it's the same dye. So it's just about the concentration of that dye in the clear liquid. And I say, what we've got to remember is this will half in strength because we're going to mix this 50-50. I say this went too far. This was too deep and too deep colour. Only just though, so I think this might be spot on. So my issue is how you replicate that, because that was very much a dip and swirl and oh shit, it's already enough. So replicating that next time is going to be painless, but we'll do the same. We'll have a bit left, we'll do this, and we'll just probably have to be needle a little bit and repeat the process for the next batch. We will just use I kind of want a syringe, to be honest, like a 2mm syringe to be able to, it's so strong. I almost want a not so fucking strong. I would pay more money for a not so fucking strong dye so it was easier to actually ladle it out. So Smooth On, if you're listening, a not so fucking strong dye, please. Cool. Right, so I'm going to put the rest of that into this one. Can do that. Can do that. Can. So that is in there. So that is now ready for our first cast of actual carrot screens. Now, do I dare do a whole batch at once? That is the first question. I'm almost tempted to actually only mix 200ml or even just shy of 200ml and see how far it goes. If I don't make it all the way to the 35, is that really a massive issue? If I only made it to 34, it's almost better to not get all of them filled and we don't get all 34 out of the cast than to waste resin in a way. Because if we miss out, if we did all but 2 of them, wouldn't fucking matter. So yeah, I think I might actually go under rather than over, because usually you would add 10% or whatever just to make sure. Because if you're casting a single thing, if you're short, you fuck the whole thing. But in this case, when we're doing a lot of them, yeah, I might actually go less. Because then I would get 4 casts out of it and say we even only got 25 out of each one, that's 100. If I do 27 out of each one rather than 35, I'm over my 100. So that might be actually a better strategy. And to be honest, we've always still got this stuff left if we need to make a couple of individuals. Yeah. Right, so let's put these back in the right boxes. That would be rubbish. So that's in that box. That's in that box. It's alright, yeah, I live near Glasgow. We're good. Trust me, I would feel out of place if I didn't live somewhere rough. Or near somewhere rough. Thank you for the offer. Right, cool. Let's put everything away. Dies and ings. Right, any more questions? Because we are hurtling towards being bloody on time. Just while I clear up. So it's an AMA sort of thing. You can ask me literally anything. If it's Star Citizen related, I will answer if I can. / if I know and I'm allowed. So, there's quite a lot left in that. It's annoying, but I don't know which one it is. Yes, I do. Oh, see, even that I can tell which one is which is the deeper one, even with that tiny amount. So that's good. Be more patient and stand here for longer. A stream ending on time? I know, right? We are hopefully working towards. Did it start telling me? Fuck you! I've got my timer sorted now. We did have a little bit of a disaster at the beginning of the stream with my network, but I have a timer now. So when I started, it has 13 minutes on the clock, and it will actually be 13 minutes. We used to run under, over, all over the place. It's now actually on a OBS timer. So all of that is automated now, which means the stream will start with or without me. It's not one knot, it's expensive stuff. This might be a good thing to say actually. This stuff is, so that's interesting. So this stuff is 800ml. This is 44, I think. 45 pounds plus VAT for 800ml. So we're looking at about 55, 60 quid maximum for per litre. So that's half the cost of clear 3D print resin, which is about 120 to 140 pounds a litre. So there are advantages of doing casting because the materials are cheaper. I say in this case by about half. Let's see if IPA cleans up resin. It should do. Try and reuse these. So this is obviously a polyurethane casting resin, clear. The grey stuff, or white stuff, which is your sort of standards, is cheaper again. So one of the things I really want to do in the next 12 months is, I'd love to say that next year we will do a big model, like a proper big model, either a Reclaimer or a 890 or an Idris or something like that. To do that, we need to be able to get ourselves to the point of being able to cast larger fuselage sections. And that will be a case of designing them, printing them, and the fly looks massive because it's so close to the camera. I'm being attacked by a giant fly. I'd really like to do a big ship with some big castings, but we need to actually get good at that first. Right, okay. So let's see who we're going to raid. Let's do some raiding. Who is on? Oh, is there no one doing Star Citizen? There's got to be someone doing Star Citizen, you'd think. You'd think, wouldn't you? See who's doing Star Citizen. Althea Games. Never heard of you, you will do. Okay. That. Cool. Yes, so thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. Have a great evening. We'll be back Sunday. As far as I know, we'll be Sunday as normal. I shall see you very soon. Have a nice evening. Ta-ta, guys.